Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time we're going to be talking about something that's pretty important to all of us down here in South Florida. That's right, we're talking about air conditioning, and more specifically, R-32 refrigerant. This stuff is kind of the new kid on the block in the AC world, and there's a lot of buzz about it. So we're diving into an article from Wholesale AC Services. They're a company based right here in Miami, so they definitely know a thing or two about keeping cool in this heat. So, is R-32 really all it's cracked up to be? Is there a catch? Let's find out.
It's really interesting how refrigerants have changed over the years, and R-32 is definitely shaking things up. So maybe we should start with, what exactly it is and why everyone's so excited about it.
Yeah, let's break it down. For those of us who
Mhm.
might not be total AC experts, what does a refrigerant actually do?
Okay, so think of refrigerant as the heart of your AC system. It's like a special fluid that circulates through the whole thing. It absorbs heat from inside your house and then releases it outside. And that's what creates that lovely, cool air we all crave.
Gotcha. So it's like the behind-the-scenes hero that makes our lives bearable in the summer. But what makes this R-32 different from, the refrigerants we've used in the past?
One of the big things with R-32 is energy efficiency. It's way better at moving heat around than older refrigerants like R-410A. That means your AC doesn't have to work as hard to keep things cool, so you end up using less energy and saving money on your electricity bill.
Oh, that's huge, especially with how much we rely on AC down here.
Mhm.
But the article also talked about R-32 being good for the environment.
Absolutely. R-32 has a much lower global warming potential, GWP for short, than R-410A. You can think of GWP as like a measure of how much a gas can trap heat in the atmosphere. So a lower GWP means less impact on climate change.
So it's like the eco-friendly way to stay cool. And the article said it's in line with all these local and global initiatives to reduce emissions.
Exactly. It's becoming the standard all over the world.
It seems like R-32 is a win-win then. Better for the planet and can save you money. But is there a catch? The article did mention a potential downside.
Yeah, there's one thing to be aware of with R-32. It's mildly flammable, so it needs to be handled correctly by trained technicians, of course.
Okay, so that's where having a professional really matters. But for the average homeowner, how worried should we be about this flammability thing?
It's natural to be a little cautious, but trained HVAC technicians know how to work with R-32 safely. It's like anything else that could be a risk if not handled properly. Think of it like natural gas or propane. With the right expertise, it's completely manageable. It's all about making sure you've got a qualified technician, someone who really knows the ins and outs of R-32.
Right, that makes sense. So that kind of puts my mind at ease. But let's talk about the cost factor here. The article mentioned that R-32 can be pricier up front. Is that right?
Yeah, it's true that R-32 might cost a bit more initially, especially if your current system needs some tweaking to work with it. But you gotta remember, the energy savings you get with R-32 will add up over time. It's really an investment that pays off.
So you're saying that the long-term savings on your energy bills could actually make it more affordable down the road.
Exactly, and when you consider the environmental benefits too, it becomes a pretty attractive option.
That's a great point. It's not just about staying cool. It's about making responsible choices.
Mm.
But before we move on, are there any other advantages of R-32 that we haven't touched on yet? I feel like the article hinted at a few other things.
Oh yeah, one interesting thing is R-32 actually needs less refrigerant to do the same job as R-410A.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you need a smaller amount circulating in your system, which is great for efficiency and, not wasting resources.
So less is more in this case. Smaller amounts, less waste, and better efficiency overall. Sounds like R-32 really checks all the boxes. Good for the planet, potentially good for your wallet, and definitely good at keeping us cool down here in South Florida.
Absolutely. It's like a step forward in AC technology, finding that balance between performance, being eco-friendly, and, practicality. But the real question is, what does this mean for homeowners like you?
That's a great question to think about. Knowing all this about R-32, its efficiency, lower environmental impact, and the potential cost savings.
Yeah.
How does this change how we think about our own AC systems? Does it make us rethink our priorities?
Yeah, it really makes you think about, all the choices we make when it comes to our homes and stuff. Do we always go for the cheapest option, or do we? Think about the long-term impact on the planet and our wallets.
Right, and that's the power of knowledge. It lets us make decisions that are good for us and the environment.
Exactly. We've covered a lot of ground today about R-32.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. It seems like it could really change the AC game.
Oh, for sure. It's a major step forward. And it'll be interesting to see where the technology goes from here.
Absolutely. And a big thanks to Wholesale AC Services for the article that sparked this whole conversation. If you're in South Florida and want to learn more about R32, definitely check them out. They seem like the real deal.
Yeah, they really know their stuff. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of R32, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends.
Spread the word and help everyone make smart choices. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Until next time, stay cool, stay curious, and keep those ACs running.